Hello and welcome back to another predictions video. Yes, it's game week 6 of this 2024-2025 Premier League season. We're just going to get straight into it this week and we'll let you know how you all got on later in the video. But let's jump into it first of all, Nathan, with our first fixture, Newcastle against Manchester City.
Yeah, so that's the midday one on Saturday, and Man City grinding out that draw with Arsenal, wasn't it? What a game that was, coming back in the end after Arsenal went ahead. Whereas Newcastle, they actually lost their first game of this season, got battered 3-1 by Fulham. That's a really bad result for them. For that reason, and with the way that Man City are playing as well, they're really going to want to bounce back and also really stay with a really good start to the season that they've had. And they haven't really had a start like this in a few years, so 2-0 to the Citizens.
2-0, yeah, I think Manchester City will win this one. However, Manchester City's injury worries are piling up. Rodri out for 9 months, apparently with a knee injury. Kevin De Bruyne is not going to be available for this match. They played in midweek as well in the Carabao Cup, which is apparently, Pep has said, is a massive distraction for them this season. Newcastle away to London last week against Fulham, surprisingly for both of our point of views, getting defeated in that match. At home, it's going to be tough for the Citizens, but I think Man City will come away with a 2-1 victory. That's live on TNT Sports in the UK. First of the 3 o'clock kickoffs though, Nathan, is Arsenal coming up against Leicester. Arsenal, of course, last weekend, a 2-2 draw away against Man City, and really it was in the dying embers of that match. They could have taken all 3 points. I think I predicted 1-0 to Arsenal. Very unlucky in the end. And Leicester City came away with a 1-1 draw against Everton, and surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, none of the promoted clubs have actually won so far this season. Can Leicester get it in London here against Arsenal? I don't think so. The likes of Trossard is out for Arsenal with a ban after that red card, and Odegaard won't be back until probably mid-October. But I think Arsenal will have too much for the Foxes, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to the Gunners.
Yeah, it's got an Arsenal win written all over it. Same with Leicester as well. There's been a lot of concerns from their fans about style of play. I know obviously they drew with Walsall last night and only just scraped for on penalties, and the Leicester fans were really not happy about that. I think they'll sneak a goal, but yeah, Arsenal taking all 3 and scoring 3, so 3-1. Moving on, Brentford up against West Ham. Brentford have had a bit of an up and down start, haven't they? West Ham, there's a lot of anger against Lopetegui there as well, already wanting him sacked, which is madness. I mean, 5 games in? Unbelievable.
They've only won 1 match out of those 5 though.
They have. That is a bit concerning, but for that reason, all in the fair, probably sit on the fence 1-1.
They're averaging a goal a game. Scored 5 goals in those 5 matches. It's all right. But yeah, as you say, the Hammers fans aren't happy with Lopetegui. Playing against Brentford. Brentford looking good. They've lost players, of course. Players with injury. And Bueno's kind of bit of their saviour, isn't he? But he's not. It's not a one-man team there, and I think Brentford will take all 3 points in West London with a 2-1 victory. Next up, also staying in West London, we've got Chelsea coming up against Brighton. Chelsea, I think it was 5-0 against Barrow in midweek in the Carabao Cup last weekend as well. Excellent win again. That's 3 wins in their last 4 with that 3-0 defeat of West Ham in the London Stadium. So in this one, I think they'll again take all 3 points, and they're quite defensively resolute as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Chelsea, but you've got to say Brighton are doing well as well in 7th position, and they haven't actually lost this season, so I think they'll get their first loss.
Interesting. I don't know what to take with this one. Like, Brighton really been grinding out results, but I don't know what it is with the way that Chelsea have been playing. I do like the looks of them at the moment, so I'm going to edge it to them 2-1. Anyway, moving on, Everton absolutely shocking against Crystal Palace, who started to get some draws on the board. They still haven't won yet, however, I think the first victory is going to come at Goodison. It's going to be close, but they'll sneak it 1-0.
1-0, yeah, I think this will be very, very close as well, Nathan. Probably a little bit of magic, possibly from Eze, who's had a lot of shots, etc., and he's been hitting the bar or post, so that he's gone wide with on occasions, and opposition keepers have been making saves. Everton getting players back now, and I think in a few weeks' time, I think they'll turn the corner. Sean Dyche, yeah, he'll be breathing down those players next. But I think Crystal Palace will get their first victory of the season here in a 2-1 win. Next up, we got the 5:30 match between Nottingham Forest and Fulham. Nottingham Forest being a bit of a revelation this season. They got that victory a couple of weeks ago against Liverpool, and they followed that up with an excellent 2-2 draw against Brighton. In this one, another tight one. Fulham only one position below them, only lost once out of the 5 matches they've played. An excellent win against Newcastle, so I think they'll cancel each other out. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Jimenez, great to see him on the score sheet, and Chris Woods has been knocking him in as well for Forest.
Yeah, for me this is definitely game of the weekend.
Really? Wow.
I think if it was in London, then I'd probably go for a convincing Fulham win, but I don't know why. Forest are going to keep it tight, so 2-1.
Yeah, the crowd there at the City Ground will be well up for this one, won't they, on the banks of the Trent.
Anyway, next up, 5:30 Wolves against Liverpool. Wolves have been absolutely shocking so far this season, conceding 14. Scoring 5. 1 goal scored, 1 point secured. Same with Everton, just terrible and not even putting out good performances. Coming up against the Liverpool side, after that loss against Forest, have bounced back well. They've had a good start. Yeah, this is going to be all Liverpool 3-0.
Yeah, they absolutely ripped Bournemouth apart, didn't they, last week? Diaz, absolutely superb. Nunez getting on the score sheet with a phenomenal goal as well. Wolves at home at Molineux, it's always a tough place to go, you could say, but I think I fancy Liverpool big time in this one, so I'm going to go for a straightforward 2-0 victory to the Reds. Then we move on to Sunday, where the first fixture, 2 o'clock, live on Sky in the UK, Ipswich against Aston Villa. Now, Ipswich currently in 17th position, but they have got 3 draws, still haven't got a win under their belts, and it's proven a little bit difficult for the Tractor Boys to score. And coming up,
they've had some tricky fixtures though.
Coming up against an Aston Villa side who are second top scorers in the division. Ollie Watkins kind of finding his feet back now after the Euros, etc. Duran, who seems to come off the bench every game and score, he's going to be a handful for Ipswich as well. So I'm going to go for an away win in this one. I think Ipswich maybe will get on the score sheet because Aston Villa haven't been convincing in defence. I think, was it 7 goals they conceded?
Yeah,
I think it was they even conceded against Wolves last weekend, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to the Villains.
Interesting. I'm going to keep it narrow and go 2-1. I think Ipswich are going to give them a good game at the moment. I can't really make a fair assessment of them just because of the run that they've had, but Villa are looking incredible. They're going to get more points on the board and really put the pressure on Liverpool and Man City at the top, so yeah, 2-1. Moving on, Man United up against Spurs. 2 teams really inconsistent next to each other in the table. One week they go ahead and just absolutely stink the place out and lose, and the other week they win. So for me, definitely cancelling each other out at Old Trafford. 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go exactly the same as you, Nathan. I'm going to go for 1-1. Along with the Newcastle-Manchester City match, this is my game of the weekend. This one's going to be intriguing because Manchester United really need to get points on the board. Currently in 11th position. If they want to get into these European places later in the season, need to be beating the Spurs, who are probably, the competition for those European spots. Both of these teams going forward okay, defensively not too bad. So yeah, I'm going 1-1 draw, same as you, Nathan. Then the final fixture, I think it's the first Monday night game of the season in the Premier League. We've got Bournemouth against Southampton. Southampton, awful, woeful. 2 goals scored. Even though going forward they've been good, they just can't hit the back of the net, can they? Bournemouth been excellent. Okay, got humbled at Anfield last week with that thumping by the Reds. I'm going to actually give Southampton a goal in this one, but I think the Cherries are going to win this one 4-1.
Interesting.
What is a bit of a South Coast derby?
Yeah, South Coast derby. I mean, I've gone a little bit less than that. I think Bournemouth keep a clean sheet. Haven't been impressed with them in their last 2 games, to be fair. Southampton, shocking, 1-0 Bournemouth.
Fantastic. So those are our predictions. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Superbru website, because last week, top scorer for game week 5 was the Hewer, and the Hewer came away with 14.5 points and 3 perfect scores to get the yellow cap for the week. How that affects the overall leaderboard now? Well, Jamie Kirtley currently on 70 points, 3 points ahead of Alex Cochrane, who Jamie takes over at the head of the table. So those are predictions. We're not at a match this week, Nathan, but looking forward to the Premier League because it's really,
definitely,
really starting to get into the swing of things now. Thanks for joining me once again, Nathan. Thank you for all joining us as well. Remember to leave your predictions. We'll see you all in the next video.
Keep hustling.